Hi everyone, welcome to my talk. We hear you collecting and processing user feedback for real. Let's go. So, first, a little bit of context. Who am I and why this talk? Hi everyone, I'm Clara, visual and interaction designer and Penpot. I am passionate about the world of usability and defender of a more inclusive digital world. I am focused on an user-centered design involving open source projects and passionate about how digital products can help people in all areas of their lives. I call myself a pro designer. Let's start where there are a lot of UX designers, no? But what is the mysterious you? There are the users. For us, it's difficult to separate Penpot from users. The essence of Penpot creation lies in us, the Penpot designers. At a time, we had to deal with working with a proprietary tool because there was no open source alternative in any software in the market for design and prototyping. So we decided to create it. Lots of UX practitioners don't talk to users on a regular basis, but at Penpot, designers are users. So we might be one of the opposite side. We collect a lot of feedback because we think our community is the most important thing. For Penpot's roadmap, we have our product vision, but we'd like to discover what all users think with open feedback and validate our hypotheses and doing conducted tests, for example. But what is Penpot? This is Penpot. As you can see, Penpot is a design tool. It's the first open source design and prototyping platform meant for cross-domain teams. In this talk, we are going to talk about how we manage all feedback we received for Penpot. We are going to talk about how we collect user feedback and contributions, what kind of feedback do we collect and receive, what do we do with that feedback and what do we learn, and what feedback and contributions we miss and would like to have. It is important to understand all of this to say that Penpot works as a full support team. We all do support. We think of ourselves as a knowledgeable open space and we'll work to get to know the market. To make Penpot, we listen to users continuously. As we said before, for us it is one of the bases of the product. We do not stop listening because we keep learning and we think it is important to follow this direction. We organize the whole Penpot team in rotating shifts every week to process the feedback that comes to us, and we all talk directly with the users. So let's start. How we collect user feedback and contributions. We have three main ways of collecting feedback from users. First and foremost, our community. Our users mean everything to us. They build Penpot. But also Penpot team, because it's important to say that we design Penpot with Penpot. So the team is also a user. And also we have Taiga as a big sister working with Penpot also. For example, we have one special tester, Natasha. The Taiga designer we consider our critical friend. she She has even his own Mattermost channel called Penpot Books. So anybody can contribute to Penpot by reporting issues, posting future requests, updating documentation, submitting pull requests of patches, and others as design contributions. Our recently added design contribution section. And we have 4 main channels to collect that feedback: the Give Feedback button in the tool, our email, our GitHub account, where people let us know the issues or create discussions about the tool, and our social media channels as Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. And what kind of feedback do we collect and receive? This is important also. Our users can contribute by reporting bugs. Bug hunting is not difficult if you know how. This is our GitHub page where we collect issues and enhancements, as you can see. Also, our users can contribute making Penpot translation to their languages. We use Weblet as a translation platform, and you can see there this Penpot is translated to Spanish, English, even Chinese, Greek, and a lot of more of languages. And also, users can make core code contributions to the technical guide, propose a change or a bug fix, implement or start working in a new feature. For example, open a question, a discussion issue, or whatever they want. And as I said before, our latest contribution way is by designing libraries and templates. We hope that these files will be useful. Think that your work as a designer and your knowledge can help someone else, even if you think it wouldn't. This is very important to us. So, what do we do with that feedback? This is important too. The feedback we collect is useful for what? For improving the tool with enhancements or whatever the tool is doing you don't want it to do, correcting bugs of the tool, things that doesn't work well, or anything that you think it's not even working properly, discovering new things that users think that people need to make or to do, or functionalities, and is useful for prioritizing the roadmap of Penpot. And feedback for what? We both use the feedback we received, to discover new opportunities of Penpot with the open feedback and new functionalities that users tell us to do, and something like that, and requests we received. But also we use it for hypothesis validation. More the former than the later, but a little bit of both. We sometimes validate user stories or functionalities by learning what users want us to do. Prioritization, what a nice name you have. From time to time, the design team meets and reviews all the feedback that has been processed. As I said, we take turns every week. Some people of the Penpot team collect all the feedback, and the design team meets and reviews all the feedback they collect. We use Taiga to manage issues and enhancements, and we prioritize the backlog based on two things: our roadmap and features that the community has pointed us to should be launched sooner. So let's see some examples of user feedback we received and became reality. For example, right to left support. This is very interesting. We want to make sure Penpot itself is well aware of the different cultural and societal contexts. It's a design and prototyping tool that aims to be global and inclusive, because for us, technology is not neutral, so neither is Penpot. When we saw that request on GitHub to tell us that to add the direction options, RTL support, it didn't take long for us to get down to work. In fact, if you can see at the creation date of the user story, is the same day as the issue, because as we said, Penpot aims to be global and inclusive. We think anybody needs a tool to work with, to feel comfortable working with. So this is an example. And this is another example of a functionality that we have in our roadmap. It's the tool capacity to add custom fonts to Penpot. And thanks to the community, raised priority. This user story for us had legal implications, how to manage the storage, and was not a big high level of priority in our roadmap. But when we saw that conversation was generated in GitHub, we saw a moment and we said, we go down to it. We are going to work on it. And right now you can add custom fonts to your Penpot designs. So these two things are examples of ways that community contributes and affects directly on the roadmap of Penpot. And what we learn from these conversations. First of all, is we are learning from team knowledge. For us, it's better to think distribute than concentrate knowledge in Penpot team. In Penpot, we talk about the knowledge market. It is something that is not in the public conversation, but it's useful to us to understand the information flow. So in Penpot, everyone does support, user support, as I said. We all talk to users. Knowledge of pains and needs is shared by the entire team. Nobody has the info for themselves. There is nothing hidden. No one treasures that knowledge. So we are at a line in the think of what is Penpot going to be and going to do. Design, UX, devs, communication, everyone has direct access to users, even our CEO. For us, anybody can access to users and know what they want. And in the other hand, we learn always from feedback processing. This is very crucial. For us, there are two ways to understand feedback. In one side, user feedback lead your product. In the other side, you use it to validate your product vision. Our approach is not to listen to the community to do everything they ask of us. We inform ourselves, and based on that, we make our own decisions, always keeping in mind the vision of the product. We could say that we are the creators. Also, many times the users themselves do not know how to express their needs. So we investigate and listen, and from there we make our own decisions. This approach is very important to us as a team who develop a product, and more if you are creating an open source product. It's easy to lose sight of your roadmap because of the amount of suggestions and ideas, better or worse, that you received. For example, from the beginning, there were a lot of petitions to add the guides functionality to our workspace, to Penpot workspace. It is useful a lot. It is tempting to do something like that will please a lot of users, of course. But before we start developing that, there are too many others crucial user stories and functionality that are going to be very useful too. Spoiler alert, right now we are implementing guides, but we decide when do it and how to do it. So, what feedback contributions we miss and would like to have? Hello, challenge. Design contributions. We are so excited for the next challenge, for this challenge, that our design contributions beyond the recent added, as I said, templates and libraries. There are a lot of ways to explore that design contributions, and any suggestions are welcome. I want to show you an example of a design contribution. We are thinking about how to approach the design contributions, how to relate to the design community so that they can contribute at the same level that the development community is doing so well. So, for example, as I said, this designer created a design enhancement, and we love it. We are glad to see that designers are also wanted to contribute to Penpot. So to sum it all up, to make Penpot, we listen to users continuously. For us, is one of the bases of the product. We do not stop listening, we keep learning, and we think it is important, very important, to follow this direction. And the whole team works day a day for it. So we build this community together, and contributions always are welcome. Thank you very much. So we build this community together, and contributions always are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Clara.
Thank you. Okay, is there three? Hi, everyone. Is there? I see three questions.
Yeah, I can
So
read. Do you want me to read one for you?
yeah, of course.
So, Evalika is asking if you have a user recruitment program.
No, we haven't, and it's an excellent idea. So proposals are welcome, Valika, if you want to join us for doing that. No, right now we don't have a user recruitment program. Right now it's more a word to mouth system and friends and family ecosystem. But we now have a lot of users, and it's it's very important in the future to have a group of pro users of Penpot that help us to improve the tool. So mm, it's an excellent idea, and I'm sure in the future we need one. We are going to need one.
Cool. So Bernard is asking what kind of design contributions would be the most useful right now? Design tasks or research like usability testing or anything that you suggest?
Right now, I think the most useful contributions maybe are usability testing and QA. Like anybody who want to use Penpot and try it and let us know what things they do not like about the tool, and we are working a lot in QA and make the tool better, but we think we need more feedback of designers. Right now developers are very integrated in Penpot via GitHub, and we think design contributions, any kind of design contributions, but indeed usability testing or QA are the most important. Just designers using Penpot is awesome.
And Evalika has a really interesting question here. She asks if there are any particular challenges in designing for open source that Penpot would integrate or would listen to, would try to turn into a feature, but other proprietary tools are not interested in.
Yeah, I think one it's the most important is the Penpot is meant for cross domain teams. We want to create a tool that helps in one hand designers and in other hand developers, and the conversation between these two groups of people. In general, proprietary tools are not much interested in this conversation. There are plugins or so, but there is no interest in create a tool, a unified tool. And also internationalization, right to left, inclusion, and to make a tool that works for someone in China or someone in US. We are very European centric
Yeah.
in proprietary tools. So
That's it.